What's interesting about the Cambridge Spies, what's bundled up in the story of the Cambridge Spies, is it encapsulates class, government cover-ups, political intrigue, even sexuality. 2 of the Cambridge Five were gay. So there's a great number of issues all coming into play in this one scandal. You have 5 men, Kim Philby, Guy Burgess, Donald Maclean, John Cairncross and Anthony Blunt, who were students at Cambridge University in the 1930s. All 5 of them were rabid ideological communists, which was a completely normal thing to be in the 1930s, particularly for upper middle class men. And they were recruited at Cambridge by the NKVD, which then became the KGB, the Soviet Foreign Intelligence Service. And they infiltrated the upper echelons of the British establishment. So Burgess worked at the BBC, Blunt became the keeper of the King's, later the Queen's Pictures, which is a very high up position in the arts. Philby worked for MI6. He was tipped to be head of MI6. Donald Maclean was the son of a prominent Liberal MP. He worked for the Foreign Office in the United States as a senior diplomat. And John Cairncross worked at Bletchley Park in the era of Nazi code breaking. So all these guys were handing a huge amount of information to the Soviets. So when they were one by one exposed, it was a great trauma for both the British government and the intelligence services, but also for the public at large. The book came about because somebody saw an interview with me in an in-flight magazine. Her mother had been planning to write a biography of Anthony Blunt, one of the Cambridge Spies, but had never got around to it. She saw that I was a spy novelist. She got in contact through my website. She said, "Would you like this material?" I said, "Of course." And she handed it to me. And inside was a whole wealth of material about Blunt and his life, including his death certificate and his will and so forth. And I thought, what would happen if an academic, somebody who really knew this subject and who was well versed in all the various angles of it, came into contact with an archive of that type, but maybe a greater, more detailed archive. And inside that, there was the clue to the identity of a 6th Cambridge spy. The lead character in the Trinity Six is Sam Gaddis, who's an academic from UCL, who's an expert in Russian history. What's fun about writing spy novels where the hero is not a spy is that they aren't as resourceful and they can't call upon the expertise and the know-how that an MI6 officer could or an MI5 officer. They are ordinary men in extraordinary circumstances, and therefore there's a great deal more jeopardy, that much more can happen to them, and they are that much more isolated.